It was a good afternoon at Jeffery Field for the Penn State women's soccer team on Sunday. The number 2 Nittany Lions defeated Quinnipiac 4-1 in the first round of the NCAA Tournament. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Gianna Cutaia, joined alongside Amanda Vogt and Josh Bartosik. The defeat of the Bobcats was a physical one. At first, it was a close game, but then the second half, the Nittany Lions figured it out and pulled away with a big win. So let's talk about what happened in that game. Amanda, I'm going to start with you. In the game, the Nittany Lions had 25 shots on goal, the most they've ever had this season. Do you think it was because of bad shot placement or outstanding play done by Sofia Lo-Spinoso?
I really think it's a credit to the Penn State's offense that they were able to get 25 shots off on during the entire game. I think it is a credit to Quinnipiac's keeper that they were able to save so many of them, but I think Penn State overall should be proud that they were able to keep their offensive pressure high throughout the entire game and during that second half, because in the first half it was a bit tighter. I did expect to see more of a presence from Allie Schlegel, which we did not get. She was subbed out halfway through the first half, right after they scored their first goal, but a real credit to their offense. But one thing I would think they should improve on is their set pieces. They had a bunch of corner kicks that were just not placed well for anybody to get a head on it or a foot in to lob one to the back of the net. But in the second half, they had 3 in a row. And on that third one, they were finally able to get one into the back of the net with Corey Dyke. So I think that moving forward, they should focus on those set piece opportunities a little bit more, rather than that great offensive game by Penn State.
Yeah, I think you kind of summed it up really well. You mentioned Quinnipiac's goalie, Lo-Spinoso, and you really can't understate what she did in this game. She had a boatload of saves, did a really, really good job, kept Quinnipiac in it for really as long as she could before Penn State took over. They were really controlling the pace of play for the majority of this game and just really couldn't break through until that second half. And you mentioned Allie Schlegel. It is kind of unfortunate to not see her do as well as we normally do. I mean, she had 13 goals in the regular season, but you also have to have a little bit of confidence and be pretty proud of the fact that they had a lot of other people step up when they needed to, and that's exactly what makes the Penn State Nittany Lions such a great team. That's why they won the Big Ten tournament. That's why they're the 2 seed and why they were able to host. You have all that scoring wealth, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but being able to have those guys that can, or those gals, that can step up when you have someone, your top player not producing as much, it makes your team that much better, and I think we really saw that in full effect in their matchup.
Definitely, I was going to touch on that next. Penn State definitely did not let the pressure get to them. They kept pushing. They played their game. And Allie Schlegel wasn't a big presence on the field, but 3 players did stand out to me. Peyton Lanahan, Kate Wiesner, and Penelope Hawking. They looked great together. Those 3 on the offensive end was really doing it for Penn State. So, Josh, let's start with you. Who stood out, or what stood out to you during that game?
Yeah, you mentioned those 3, and really that was kind of what I was mentioning in the first part of the segment, was the scoring depth and just the wealth and the distribution that they had. When Allie Schlegel's not doing it, you have these other people that can step up, and that's what really, really made that win just feel a lot better, because there's a lot of teams that are very top-heavy, and it seems like the Nittany Lions could be one of those teams at times, but they proved that they're not that. And you mentioned Peyton Lanahan. She's been on an absolute tear so far. She had a goal in that game, obviously, on a 3-game point streak. She had a goal in the game prior. Could roll it into the rest of the tournament, because it only takes one player getting hot to really go on a big streak, and she's very hot right now.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Their offensive versatility in the midfield and attacking positions is unmatched to a bunch of the other teams in this tournament, and I think that will help them propel really far. What I noticed and what I kept an eye on is when they're attacking, they like to go down the throat and down the middle of their opponent's defenders with one-touch passing down the middle and sending a through ball up into the box, which will draw the goalkeeper out, and then they'll score it into the opposite post on where they're on. And so that's something that worked for them really well in this match, and they'll probably continue it throughout their run. And we can't discredit the defense, because the defense for Penn State, unstoppable. Jillian Jennings, the center back, is someone who is a great facilitator on the ball, who is really great at resetting their plays and their attacks, and who I noticed is someone that has really been the base of their defense. And their defense overall just did a great job in this match too.
Yeah, you both definitely make some great points. Now Penn State has to play in the 3rd round, 7-seeded West Virginia. They've already seen them this season. In regular season, they beat them, so they already are pretty familiar on how West Virginia plays. So, Amanda, we can start with you. What do you think Penn State's going to need to do to beat the Mountaineers?
Penn State's on a 4-game win streak, and that's coming from their Big Ten tournament run, which resulted in a victory. They ended their regular season with a loss and a tie, but from then they have bounced back, so I think they just need to keep carrying the momentum, because what they've been doing now has been working. Don't make too many changes. Keep pressing as well as they have been. Their offensive pressure has been key. I think defensively, having another game at home at Jeffery Field is going to do them wonders, because Catherine Asman, who was voted Big Ten Defensive Goalkeeper of the Week a couple times this season, doesn't have to see much action when they're at Jeffery Field because of that offensive pressure and their defensive ability to step up and keep their line high. But if need be, Catherine Asman can come away with a big save, game-winning, just game-altering, just momentum-continuing save that will keep Penn State in control, and I think that's just a real key to keep their run going throughout the rest of their tournament run.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, the home field or home pitch advantage in the NCAA tournament for those first couple rounds can really prove to be the difference maker. And I think it played a pretty big role in that second half against Quinnipiac. And we were talking a little bit about West Virginia. They beat Virginia Tech 2-0 in their game. They're now on a 6-game win streak as well. You talk about hot teams. They're one of the hottest in the nation. Haven't lost in 8 straight games, have won 6 in a row. And they've been really solid. They've been getting a lot of depth scoring as well. They had some more depth pieces that contributed in their win against Virginia Tech. So similar to Penn State, you didn't see someone like Ali Schlegel producing. You say the same on the West Virginia side. So I think going into this matchup, it's going to be a really good one. It's going to be one of the best that we'll see in this third round. It's going to come down to which team's top performers can show out and impact the game when they need to be, because that's all it's about. You talk about Ali Schlegel all the time, one of the best players in Big Ten soccer, if not collegiate soccer overall. You want to see her produce when you want to see her put herself into the spotlight and find a way to push Penn State over the edge. And so whichever team can have their top producers show up in the big moment will most likely come away with a victory.
I agree with all of that. Hope to see Penn State come out strong, and we'll see what they do against West Virginia. That's all we have for this edition of Penn State Sports Night. The Nittany Lions will take on the Mountaineers Friday night, who will be victorious and have to face either Xavier or number 3 Virginia in the third round. We will see Friday. For Amanda Vogt and Josh Bartosik, I'm Gianna Cutaia. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.